and I play red. If you're like us, you've probably got different people you play games with, and you have different people that you play different games with. We have some friends who are very Eurocentric and are happy pushing cubes around in their own little area and kind of ignoring everyone else. And we have other friends who can be a little bit mean. Those are the friends that I picked up this game for. This is Bellum Magica, designed by Frederic Gerard, produced by Blue Orange Games. You get to be mean to each other, and I know some people love that. So let's have a look at how it plays. In Bellum Magica, players take on the role of evil overlords who will recruit a vast army of creatures to do their bidding. From the smallest goblins to the largest dragons, everyone has a job to do, be that gathering resources, exploring, or attacking villages or rival players. You'll start the game with a castle board, which represents you and your realm. This is the closest to red that there is, so we're taking him. The right side of the board shows your attacking strength, and the left side shows your exploring and production abilities. We're going to shuffle the goblin deck at the start of the game and take 2 cards. I then get to choose where to place these on my board. I could place them both on this side if I wanted to, one on each or whatever. I'm actually going to pop one on either side for now, because I like having the thief. Thieves are good. The Human Kingdom deck is set up appropriately for the number of players. We've then got 2 from the top and the tavern, which will always stay in play. We then have our evil creatures here and our most evil creatures here. We have 2 of each face up, and the cost to buy these is shown on the back of the card there. All of our treasure chests are mixed up and face down so that we can't see the points on the back of them. Shh, secret. The first player is going to take the dice and roll it, the result of which will determine the active horde for the round, i.e. which line on the castle we will be dealing with. When the active player rolls the dice, all other players have a chance to buy a round of drink using beer barrels. So players can choose to spend 1 beer barrel and get the player to re-roll. The active player can also choose to do this, and in fact they may even have a confusion spell that they can use to re-roll the dice as well, but we'll come on to them later. Once the roll for the round has been determined, players check how much treasure has been brought back from raids. So in this case, it's a 4. Here I have 2 treasure maps. Whoever has the highest number of maps on the roll for the round gets a metal chest at random. Now I've received this, I can look at the points on the back, but they're kept secret and in front of me for the game. Then you're going to gather all resources shown on that side of the board. This can be done simultaneously. Here, I'm only actually going to get 1 food. It's a bit rubbish, that was. In turn order, all players will take their attack phase. You get 1 attack per round, and you can attack either the Human Kingdom, i.e. one of the 3 available cards here, or another player. To attack the human kingdom, you must have as many attacks showing as there are shields on the card. So here on a 4, I have 2 attacks. So I could actually attack any of these 3 buildings. I think I'm going to attack this one. So I'm going to gain a barrel and a runestone, and those go into my supply. You can only have 2 barrels in your supply at any one time. So at the moment I have 2, that's fine. Also in this deck you'll find magic shields. So right at the bottom there's a big one here. Magic shields are represented by this pink shield. Now they can only be attacked by a pink sword. There's one here. So in the case of this card, you need 6 attacks and 1 pink sword. To attack an enemy player is a very similar process. So here, this player has 2 shields, so I would need 2 attacks. However, that doesn't really gain me very much unless I have a thief in my party. So you can see here on the 1, the 2 and the 3, I have this little red mask which represents thieves. Now, if a party containing a thief successfully attacks an opponent, I can steal from them. So if this player had some chests, let's give them some points. If I successfully attacked the purple player and I had a thief, I would get to take one of their chests. So I'd obviously take the red one because the red ones are best. We all know that. At the end of an attack phase, you need to check for a winner, which is if someone has 10 or more chests in their supply. If they do, the game ends immediately. If not, continue to the recruit creatures phase, which is harder to say than you'd think. In turn order, players get to recruit creatures to add to their cause. So these minions have a cost of 2 food. So if I had 2 food, which I don't at the moment, if I had 2 food, I'd take one of these and I'd put them in my play area on either side of my castle. Now, we were talking about the pink swords, so I'm actually gonna add that witch with the pink swords to my board there. I'd pay the 2 food if I had it, and a new creature would be drawn. We then have the really evil minions, which cost you either 4 food and a rune, or 3 runes. And these work in exactly the same way. You're going to take the creature and pop them under your board. Now, some creatures give bonus tokens like these here. They might give you extra shields, magic shields, or confusion spells that I spoke about earlier. So, did she have one? No, of course I took one that didn't. If I were to take this creature, I'd get an extra shield, and I'd put that on my board. Pop him under there. And now I have a defense of 3 that someone would need to break through to steal from me. Some creatures will give you magic shields, and some will give you confusion spells, which we spoke about earlier, allowing you to re-roll the dice for the round. So you use it, flip it over, and then during the next turn, you flip it back again. These are permanent bonuses that cannot be lost through the course of the game, so they're pretty cool. After everyone has had a chance to recruit creatures, the round will end. You're going to restock the human kingdom and restock the monsters. Now, with the human kingdom, we have the tavern card here, which will never leave play. It's kind of like the cultist in Ascension, if you've ever played that. So we're going to have a number of cards equal to the number of players plus the tavern. So this would be for a 2-player game. 2 cards and the tavern. So we can hit this one, we can hit this one, we can hit this one, but this will stay. And then at the end of the round, we'd restock the human kingdom. So the tavern is quite important. Play will continue in this way until the round where a player has 10 or more chests at the end of the attack phase. You're then going to add up all the points on the chests, and the player with the most is the winner. Now, there are several types of chests. We have, oh, we've got one here, wooden chests, metal chests, and fancy red chests. I don't know what they're called. They're fancy red chests now. Now, obviously, the wooden ones tend to have the lower points, the metal ones higher, and the red ones highest because they're best. So even if you have 10 chests, if you have like 10 wooden chests, you're not necessarily going to score as many points as someone with some of the higher value chests. So it is well worth keeping an eye on what your opponents have got. So let's just play a few rounds and see what we get. Get rid of my defense tokens, which suck. Get rid of my really evil minion and my normal minion, just put them back. So let's have a look. Roll a 3. So in this case, I'd get 2 food. So I'm going to take 2 food, pop it there. My opponent here would have 1 food and 1 treasure chest. So they get the 1 food and they'd get the metal chest for the round because they have the most treasure maps. I'd then get to attack. I do have a thief in my party, but I only have an attack of 1. So at this point, I'm just going to attack the tavern. So the tavern gives me a barrel and a food. Pop that in my supply. And then I have 3 food to spend. So I am going to buy a dude. I'm going to spend 2 food. And there's not a lot in these 2, is there? Let's have a look. I'm going to take this one and pray for some 6s. This gives me a shield, which I'm going to pop there. And I'm going to pop him there with his little ninja mask here. So then my opponent would buy creatures too. We then restock everything and they would roll the dice. So they're rolling a 3. I'm not particularly happy with a 3, so I'm going to pay a barrel and make them re-roll 6. That's better. So on a 6, I'd get 2 food and I have a treasure map. My opponent would get 2 food. They don't have a treasure map, so I would gain a metal chest. They would then attack. I then attack. Now the interesting thing here is I've got 3 attack and a thief. So I'm actually going to attack them because I can get through it. And my thief is going to steal that chest from them. Again, I have 2. Look, my witch is back. So I am going to buy my witch. Plop her there. So play will continue in this manner until someone has 10 chests. So the thing that really attracted me to Bellum Magica is the fact we get to play as evil overlords. I love that. We don't always want to be the good guys. It's nice sometimes to be a little bit bad. So I really like that. The artwork is gorgeous. I love all the different monsters. It's almost a sad thing that you slide them under and you lose the artwork. That's a bit sad because they're lovely. The other thing is your resources and stuff come or are stored in the game in these trays, which you can then take out and use while you're playing the game. And that is really neat. If you're going to do an insert, let's make it multi-purpose, which is kind of what they've done here. That is very cool. It's quite a simple little game. A bit of dice chucking. I do like a bit of dice chucking as long as it doesn't outstay its welcome. But there's enough engagement in this. Even when your opponent is the start player and they're rolling the dice, you still get to engage with that and you still get to do stuff. So it's really nice from that point of view. It would definitely appeal to players who like to beat each other up, really. Which we approve wholeheartedly at times, in games only. Don't go around beating each other up in real life, please. So that is Bellum Magica from Blue Orange. I know this is a slightly older game, but I've not really heard anyone talking about it, and I don't know why, because it's pretty neat. So check it out now. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked this video. If you did, click like and subscribe and stuff. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at iPlayRed. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.